Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody doing today? I am doing great. Thank you. Um, yeah, it's Saturday. It's sunny, which I'm not a big fan of. And I forgot to turn on my overhead light. So I'm going to go turn on my overhead light. You, I suppose, can just appreciate all of my cool stuff in the background. Lighting is such a pain in the butt. It's like the worst part of running a stream is like comprehending how lights and cameras work. It's awful. It's my least favorite part. Talking to you is fun. It's great. Complaining about the news, great. Calling Donnie a king and a fat piece of shit. That's lots of fun. You know, putting silly hats on Bulbasaur. Very important and very fun part of being a live streamer. But lights, ugh, least favorite part, honestly. Hi, how are you? Um, I'm doing okay, but yeah, it's sunny out there, so that throws off my camera. Then I have to turn on all the extra lights. Then I have to stare into the lights, so that like it looks normal, and I don't look like I'm in a cave. Because if I turn all the lights off, here, you want to see what the lights off? We're gonna turn them all off, and it's gonna look like shit. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do this. Wait, where's this button? This, and then I look like I'm in a basement or something, but it is like this is a very bright room, but the camera doesn't comprehend it. It doesn't do the thing. So I've turned on these yellows here. Or turn on the yellow. Come on, yellow. Come on, yellow. That's the off button, Waldo. That's the yellow. And then we turn on this guy right here, and then bam. And then it almost looks like I'm a professional who knows what he's doing. I'm not, but I pretend to be. And that's the rule for being a human being is just pretend to do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing until everybody agrees that you're good at it. Works for the president, works for me. Anyway, hi. I talk about politics sometimes when I'm not railing about how hard it is to be a live streamer. Hardest job in the world, and they don't even pay me for it. But you can help me out by going onto the YouTube page, pressing the like button, pressing the subscribe button, pressing the thumbs up, press the little heart on the chat button. I don't know what it does, if it does anything at all. But yeah, go on over there, do those things, and I will talk about the news. What the damn hell is going on today? Let's look at some politics news. Ba-bam. Here we go. Let's jump right in. U.S. forces at Saudi Arabia base suffer Iranian attack. So, because we are at war, but we're not really at war. Donnie says we're not at war, but we are at war. And we don't have boots on the ground, but we have troops all over the place. And we won the war 2 weeks ago, but it will be over in 2 weeks. Okay, because that's how victory works: is you win, and then a few weeks later, you wrap it all up, I suppose. Unless, of course, this makes everything worse, which it has because we are planning very poorly, and this goes on forever and turns into a big old world war. Will it do that? Maybe. Well, we'll look at some evidence to suggest that it is turning into like a worldwide war. World War III doesn't have to have nukes. It might, but it might not at the same time. So let's look at some evidence for that in a minute. Well, what are we looking at right now? Multiple American service members were wounded and some aircraft were damaged on March 27th, Iranian attack on Prince Sultan Air Base, Saudi Arabia. People familiar with the matter told Air and Space Force magazine 10 service members were wounded, 2 seriously, according to initial reports. The Iranian missile struck the base, injuring these service members. Multiple drones were also used in the attack. A foreign country is bombing our positions. We are at war. It's true. It's a thing that's happening. But Donnie can't call it a war, even though he does call it a war pretty often, because then that sets certain laws in place, and the Senate didn't approve of a war, which means it's a whole fucking legalese mess. And he's bad at that kind of stuff. So why did they do this? Because we bombed them first. We probably shouldn't have done that. Multiple refueling aircraft and an E-3 Sentry AWACS command and control plane are among the aircraft damaged. According to the preliminary information, a photo showed significant damage to the E3, but the image could not be independently confirmed. These are high quality, expensive pieces of equipment. They are hitting us where it hurts, harming our service members and hitting the E3 Sentry, which is a big ass expensive fucking plane, and an AWACS command and control plane. They're destroying our resources because we're at war with them, obviously. Let's see. Is there any other updates on this one? We got Iran reports strike near nuclear power plant, the third in 10 days. So we are bombing their nuclear power plants. Iran says there was a strike in the area of its nuclear power plant. The International Atomic Agency said marking the third such in 10 days. There was no reported damage to the reactor, nor was there any radiation released, the agency said, but that's the plan. You're right, Philip. Those planes are wildly expensive, and that's what matters. That's why they're doing it, because they looked at the things that they could hit with a bomb, and they said, hey, that's a very important, very strategic, very expensive piece of equipment. Let's hit it. And they did. So they did damage to us and to the people there and the equipment that we have. And apparently there's no damage to this reactor and no radiation released, even though that's what they want. That's the point of that bomb that we dropped on them, either us or Israel, because that's who we're in the current suicide pact with, apparently, is us and Israel versus Iran. But then that makes everybody else in the world have to pick a side. And they might not pick our side because Donnie's a lying sack of shit who tariffed the entire planet for no good reason, accomplishing nothing illegally, and then maybe he has to give the money back. Nobody knows. Nobody's ever blatantly broken the law in such a giant, wild way before, so we don't know what to do. And now we're at war for no goddamn reason. No good reason, anyway. Lots of bullshit, made-up, stupid reasons, but no good reasons. The IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi expressed deep concern about reports of military activity in the vicinity of the nuclear power plant. It could cause major radiological incident if reactor were damaged. DG Grossi reiterates call for maximum military restraint to avoid risk of nuclear accident. Absolutely not going to happen. Donnie's convinced that if we just hit this reactor with a bomb, it'll explode. It'll be like a nuke going off. I mean, it won't. It'll just explode and spread slow-acting poison to the people around it. And he's okay with that, too. Saudi Arabia destroys missile fired towards capital. Okay, so that's fun. Saudi Arabia has intercepted and destroyed a ballistic missile fired towards Riyadh. The kingdom's Ministry of Defense announced the interception. Okay, cool. What else we got? Iran's foreign minister accuses Netanyahu of gambling with American lives. Well, that is exactly what he's doing. We are in a suicide pact with Israel, and I don't understand how we got there. Why? They are an ethno-nationalist, bloodthirsty government right now. Netanyahu, ethno-nationalist. He wants blood and soil. He wants soil for his blood, for his people, his genetic line. And anybody who isn't of his genetics needs to get off that soil, which is what they're doing in Gaza, and they're doing in Lebanon, or die. That is the game he is playing. That's not a game I like. The Trumpers think the Russians zero appreciation for damage an enemy can inflict when his weapons are plentiful, cheap, and effective enough. Yeah, they're not rational people. Anybody who supports Donald Trump is not a rational person. Anybody who was rational and thought that maybe he was doing good things back in 2015 has abandoned him. Anybody who stuck with him after that, if you thought he might be a good idea in 2014, 2015, I'll forgive you, okay? After you saw what he did, anybody who's rational would abandon him. And that's why his polling numbers are looking so bad right now, is because the people in the middle who don't really pay attention, there's a very large block of American people in the center who do not watch the news, do not comprehend what's going on, and the only politics that gets to them are wars and gas prices. That is why it's all over the fucking news, because that's what the people in the middle pay attention to. If you can't comprehend why CNN won't shut the fuck up about gas prices, it's because there's a large group of people in the middle who don't give a shit about anything else. Country X is doing a genetic holocaust against country Y. They don't notice. They don't hear about it. Lebanon bombing Serbia, they don't hear it. I don't know if they're even doing that, but they would never know anyway. They couldn't find them on a map. They got no idea. Israel stealing land from Lebanon, they don't hear about it. Nothing. They don't know it happened. They don't know why it happened. They can't tell you what's going on. They only care about the two things: American war, gas prices. It's all the people in the middle generally care about. Donnie's starting an unjust, illegal war against Iran right now, so they hear about that. And it's driving the gas prices way up, so they care about that. That drives his numbers down. Not with the MAGA crowd, though, because they are ride or die. They are going to follow him right into the gates of hell. They like pedophiles and war now. The MAGA people do. They're on board for it. They ran against war, foreign wars, American interventionism, and they ran against pedophiles, and now they're for those things because that's what Donnie is. He pretended not to be those things during the campaigns. He pretended not to be those things, but he is those things, and that's what I said during the campaign. Donnie loves foreign war. Donnie is best friends with Epstein. So when he says he's against pedophiles, and he's against corruption, and he's against foreign wars, he is all of those things. The MAGA can't see that, though. They're very dumb. And they're willfully blind. That's why we made the very fun blind spot. Conservatives have a blind spot that they can just throw up in front of their own faces and see only the things they want to see. They can ignore whatever's right in front of their face. They can ignore Donald Trump being friends with Epstein and then tell you that they are anti-pedophile. They can put this little symbol up in front of their faces and then tell you that Donald's against foreign wars. But we know during his first administration, he dropped the biggest non-nuclear bomb in existence on Iran. He intentionally assassinated one of Iran's leading generals during his first Soleimani during his first administration. He loves foreign war. He keeps doing them, but they will ignore it. They will put the blind spot up, and they will not see it. They cannot be trusted. They are not serious people who should be listened to. So let's keep on with the updates. What other updates do we got? Updates, war updates. Here we go. American anti-tank mines dropped on Iranian village. Now, we're dropping mines on them. The U.S. and Israel military have dropped bombs on targets across Iran, but villagers in southern Iran discovered something entirely different. Dropped into their backyards and gardens around their town. A video verified by NBC News shows American anti-tank mines. The landmines, identified by several munitions experts as U.S.-made BLU-91s, were found in Jamalabad, a village on the outskirts of Shiraz near a missile base that had been struck earlier in the Iran war. Directors of Arms Intelligence firm Armament Research Service, blah, 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 told Bellingcat, who first reported on the discovery, that the mines appear to have been dropped from the air. In the video published March 26th, a crowd of villagers and journalists can be seen walking through the rain-drenched side streets of the village into several backyard lots. One mine is found beside a wall next to a volleyball court. Another is found upside down, half buried in a garden behind a house that will explode and kill innocent people. The group moves onto a driveway where the man guiding the group explains that someone was killed by accidentally setting off a mine. Amazing. Innocent people dying while trying to move it away from his car. Videos show the back tire and side of the truck riddled with shrapnel next to a blown apart piece of the mine. He got close and tried to take it away from his property, away from probably his family, and it blew up and killed him. Because that's what we are now. We, the government, the military, under Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, are not good moral actors anymore. We are doing bad, immoral, unethical war crimes now because we hired a criminal to be the president. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't hire criminals to be the president. What Donnie Boy really ran on was purging America of non-MAGAs. Absolutely. And that is more MAGA ideology. They do not like the people who are not like them. They hate the people who aren't like them. They hate the people who aren't straight, white, cis men. Everyone else is a second, third, or fourth class citizen. They'll create the race hierarchy once they are cemented within American government, and that will determine where you fit on the pyramid. Anti-tank mines are not prohibited by warfare. Oh, okay, great. While the U.S. has never signed the treaty, the Biden administration pledged in 2022 not to use anti-personnel landmines. No anti-personnel mines could have been seen in the video. The landmine cluster munition monitor. We're calling on the U.S. not to deploy anti-personnel mines under the circumstances, and we're watching the situation closely. So we're doing bad things for bad reasons, so Donnie can brag about it because he's a terrible person. Trump's U.S. mission in Iran is 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Guys, we're 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Tonight, we're closer than ever to the rise of the Middle East that is finally free at last from Iranian terror, aggression, and nuclear blackmail, so that they can be under American terror, aggression, and nuclear blackmail, because that's what we would imply. If America...
Waited though we won last week?
Yeah, we did win last week, but it's going to take at least a few more weeks, possibly forever, to wrap up all the winning, you see. Which is why we won last week, but we need to send more troops tomorrow to wrap up the winning. The Blue 91 and 92 mines should have been banned decades ago. I agree. Landmines are awful. They are probably the worst possible thing that you can do to someone in their country. We did that to Laos back in the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. We just dropped all these little cluster bombs, and they never exploded. So the people, 10 years later, would be working on a farm. Boom, explode. Surprise. 10 years after the bomb got dropped, it got covered up by some dirt, and now you're dead. It's awful, and it's disgusting. We need to have moral, intelligent, ethical people in charge of our government, and we don't right now. We don't. Donnie has no ethics. He gets a play-by-play. He gets a Sports Center version of the war every morning. Pete Hegseth probably, or someone along those lines, she walks in, shows him a 2-minute video of shit blowing up and tells him that we're doing a great job. And then he goes out and he jibber jabbers. He spits his version of dementia onto the TV, and then MAGA cheers. They love it. This is great for them. They're happy with Iranians dying because they hate all foreigners. So MAGA's on board. They're super cheering for it. Drop the things on them. Every conservative, not every, but most of them, at some point, when I have had individual personal experiences with them, have said, glass the Middle East. You know, you've heard that before. Turn the whole thing into a sheet of glass with nukes, because they hate these people. Donnie hates these people. Hegseth hates these people. MAGA hates these people. And we're going to dominate them and replace their terror and aggression and nuclear blackmail with our terror and aggression and nuclear blackmail. Because that is what will happen if we got if we did the entire regime change. And let's say Donnie even has some brilliant plan. We'll give him all of the doubt. He's got a brilliant plan. He knows exactly who's going to fill in. He kills only the worst of the worst within the Iranian government. He only kills the most bloodthirsty, the most criminal, the most terroristic. And they get replaced with super good, nice people who are friends to the Iranian people, and they're going to become an American ally, which they were back in 2015. But don't let Donnie know. He pulls it off. Magically, he pulls it off. We would still be controlling what they do with the threat of us bombing them, or us shooting them, or us seizing their ships, or stopping their control of the Strait of Hormuz, or landmining them, or sending proxy wars to stop them from doing anything they want to do that we don't want them to do, and threatening them with our nukes. Because we threaten everyone with our nukes all the time by having them. The shed is setting up generations of hate. Absolutely. This is just like Iraq in 2003, but worse. Everything about this, it's exactly like 2003, but so much worse. Dumber people in charge, less clear objectives, less reason to go in, and a bigger, stronger, more well-equipped enemy. Everything about this is worse than Iraq, and it will continue to be worse. Let's see what Witkoff says. Negotiations with Iran are ongoing despite denials from Tehran. Now, you know Witkoff is not actually a part of the government. He's a special envoy. He's not like elected or approved by the Senate or anything like that. He's just a cool guy that Donnie knows, who we can totally trust to negotiate war with peace negotiations with a foreign country. Who's saying this? Everybody in this room knows that we are negotiating. It's clear some ships are coming through. We may have a different definition of negotiating than they do, but there may be people within this system today that just don't have the ability to admit it. Witkoff, you're a liar. Like, if there's people who don't have the ability to admit it, it's because you're fucking stupid and we don't trust you. Witkoff said at an investment conference. Of course, he's at an investment conference. He took a break from dealing with World War III to swing by an investment conference in Miami, noting that there will be likely more diplomatic discussions this week. Our solution is all about what's best for the region, what's best for the United States, what's best for the world. No enrichment. You can't have a second coming of North Korea in the Middle East. He's comparing.
He's warring from home.
Yeah, he is. He's warring from the investment conference. He's comparing this to North Korea. And I just don't think that makes any sense. Did North Korea do the right thing? Now, follow me here. They're shitty people, and they're a military dictatorship, and they have what's basically a king. But America doesn't fuck with them because they worked really hard to create a nuclear deterrent. Like, they are isolated, but that's what they wanted. They won, kind of. And I'm not trying to give them any benefit of the doubt, and I don't like them, and I think that they would be better off if they were part of the liberal order of the world. But they kind of won. And I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what how to square this stuff. It's just I'm just talking off the top of my head. I'm just thinking about what Witkoff is saying there. He doesn't want another North Korea, but like, North Korea won and we lost. North Korea gets to do what it wants. It has the threat of nukes against us. I don't think they can, and I don't think they have missiles, and I don't think that any of their shit works. But like, if we bombed the shit out of North Korea, and we could, and we would, then all those people run to China, and then China's mad at us, and it's just a whole fucking mess. Global geopolitics is complicated. Steve Witkoff, not smart enough for it. I'm not smart enough for it, but I'm also not telling you that I'm fucking a genius. I'm telling you what I feel, how I feel at any given moment. Steve Witkoff is telling you that he is qualified to do these complicated geopolitical negotiations, and I don't think he is. I don't think, because he's friends with Donnie. Like, anybody that's friends with him is a grifter or a liar or a moron. That's all there is. Anybody who's friendly with Donald Trump either thinks they can get one over on him and steal from him and steal from his name and his value and his work, or you get to like follow behind him and gobble up all the scraps. Some sort of bottom feeder who follows behind him. Or you're an actual idiot who thinks like he does. So if Witkoff is either of those things, he's not going to do a good job for America. Actual diplomacy is nerd shit. Really is. Steve Witkoff is not into nerd shit. He's into making money. That's what he's interested in. Check out the concept of monomyth. Trump thinks that there are clear, sharp good guys and bad guys in this world. Well, he thinks good and evil. Yeah. There is, I use the word evil sometimes, but like, no one's inherently evil. The things that Iraq is doing here are logical. They want to have control and authority within their part of the world. That Strait of Hormuz is their waterway. It touches their country. They export oil through it, and they want to have some sort of authority and control over it. America controls the Mississippi River, and it controls a lot of the Pacific because we touch it. It controls a lot of the Atlantic because we touch it. It controls the Gulf of Mexico because we're touching it. And I will continue to call it that. Donnie can sue me all he wants. I don't care. It's the Gulf of Mexico. What are they going to do? Fucking put me in jail? So that's the Monroe Doctrine. That's the Monroe Doctrine. The people take care of their neighbors and stop fucking around with people that aren't their neighbors. That's like the Monroe Doctrine. Where America is really big and powerful, so it should have good relations and not authority, but like a vested interest in Canada and Mexico because they're our neighbors. But we should have less say so in somebody on the other side of the globe. That's the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine is just gibberish and nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. He just wants to be king of the world. Might be the monomyth, the American monomyth in the Wikipedia. Yeah. So let's keep reading updates and see where we ended up. Witkoff is bad and dumb and just wants to make as much money for himself as possible. Israel says missile launched from Yemen. That's probably aimed at Israel for starting a bunch of wars. Trump says Iran should open up the Strait of Trump. He renamed it after himself. Speaking at a Saudi investment conference in Florida, Trump referred to the Strait of Hormuz as the Strait of Trump. Why would you let this guy be in charge? Why would you vote for this guy? He said, we're negotiating with Iran. It would be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz. And he laughs from the audience. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say he accidentally said, no, there are no accidents with me. No, too many. Not too many. If there were, we'd have a major story. So he wants to rename it after himself because he wants to be the king of the world. He doesn't want what's good for you. He doesn't want to enhance your life. He wants to enhance his. He needs more power, more authority, more money, more of everything because he is the king. He was born special and he is the God King Emperor of the planet in his mind. And which is why they should name it the Strait of Trump. I mean, all the good he's done for them, bombing their people and putting mines in their backyard. I mean, why wouldn't they support him? Doesn't make any sense. In his poisoned, deluded brain. What else we got? Yemen's Houthis confirm attack on Israel for the first time in current war. Okay, great. So that's not a surprise. Trump extends Hormuz deadline. President Trump has extended the 10 days, his deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz trade route or face U.S. strikes on its power plants. Trump has talks to end the war are going very well, even though he's enhancing the war. This is Orwellian, and it's amazing. There's so much Orwellianism going on right now. The war is over. We won. We're sending troops tomorrow. They will be on Karg Island, but they won't have troops. We won't have boots on the ground. No, we're not going to have boots on the ground. They're going to be in Iran. They're going to be standing there, but they're not going to be boots on the ground because boots on the ground is a negative connotation. They're going to be there. They're going to be shooting at people, and they're going to be launching bombs, and they're going to be launching drones, and they're going to be shooting at the enemy, but they're not going to be boots on the ground. No. They're not going to be boots on the ground. They're going to do a butt scoot, right? They're going to put their butts on the ground and their hands, and then their feet are going to be up in the air. So I think I demonstrated this last time. So what they're going to do, it's my chair, lean back. They're going to put their butts on the ground, okay? And then they're going to use their hands and their butts to walk while their feet are in the air. You see? And they're going to walk like this. Gonna get both of them up there. God, I'm old. And they're gonna put both of them up there, and they're just gonna scoot like this, and they're gonna keep their feet off the ground, right? And they're gonna do a butt scoot, kind of a thing, and that way we won't have boots on the ground because the boots will be in the air. You see, they're not gonna touch the ground. So no boots on the ground.
Butts on the ground.
Butts on the ground. Yes. Butts on the ground. Yes. Boots on the ground. No. It's a difference, okay? And the fake news is going to keep reporting that we've got boots on the ground, but it's actually butts on the ground, okay? Fake news. Because they're fucking stupid. And they're Orwellian. They will tell you that we're bombing them for peace. You know, we're murdering them all for peace. We're putting landmines in innocent people's backyards because of peace. You know, we're anti-war, which is why we bombed the fuck out of them and destroyed their power plants and their steel mills. And we stole their oil manufacturing place on Carg Island. And none of this is working so far. None of it is working. Oh, absolutely none of it is working. Last year, Iran sold like 1.4 billion barrels of oil or some shit. Or was it million? They sold some oil last year. They are selling more oil now for more money. More oil at a higher price now than last year. How are we winning? How is this war won already? Doesn't make any sense. And now they're talking about taking more direct control over which boats come in and which boats go out and which boats are allowed to pass through, and then maybe even setting up a toll system. And if you don't pay the toll, you get fucking drone bombed and your sailors die and your oil gets blowed the fuck up. We're not winning this war right now. America is losing because we hired incompetence. There's no other way around it. They are completely incapable of doing this because they're fucking stupid. Tehran is being bombed a lot. That's pissing off all of the people that live there. A mother stands by the rubble, crying out for her daughter. For days, she's been waiting for the rescue workers to dig through the flattened remains of what once was her daughter's flat in Rezalat, a residential district in eastern Tehran. For a month, Iran has been at war with the U.S. and Israel, which have been carrying out strikes across the country at targets linked to the regime. But these attacks are also having a devastating impact on the civilians living nearby. They are now being caught between bombardment from the skies and a repressive regime that responded to anti-establishment protests with a deadly crackdown in January. So, yeah, the government of Iran is not good. They are power hungry and care mostly about their own power first, their own money second, and they don't really care about their people at all. Since the start of the war, BBC I has gathered exclusive footage. We gathered eyewitness testimony filmed at the aftermath of the strikes. This is some photos, militia building, and then residential buildings, and then this got blowed up, and 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 this has got injured and damaged. So yeah, we're killing lots of people. Some of it unnecessary. I mean, all of it unnecessary. This entire war did not need to start. It's fucking stupid. We're hitting their police stations. So we got a police station blowed up. Good stuff. Great. Completely unnecessary. And it's making everything worse. According to Rubio, the Secretary of State, who would know these things, he acknowledged that Tehran might continue to hold a stranglehold over the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic waterway through which a fifth of the world's oil is transported. One of the immediate challenges we're going to face is an Iran that may decide they want to set up a tolling system. This scenario is dangerous to the world, and it's important that the world have a plan to confront it. No, it's not dangerous to the world. Well, it's a consequence of your stupid actions. Marco Rubio, this is happening because Israel and Donnie bombed them for no damn reason. Don't bomb people for no damn reason. Problem solved. They make these problems, they make things worse. Stop allowing fucking conservatives to win elections. They only fuck shit up. They do not make things better. They do not make your life better. They do not help you. They hate and they kill and they ruin. So there's a lot of argument over whether or not we will send in the troops. Some people are saying that we will. Some people are saying that we won't. This is Ken Klippenstein, one of the very few journalists left to exist. He's saying that we won't. And I think he's missing something here. Ken Klippenstein, very good guy, very good journalist, one of the very few journalists left in existence. There are very few that exist. He is one. Should I pretend to be a journalist? I'm going rogue here. I'm going off script. Is a journalism degree even worth anything? Like, I mean, I know they exist, and I know you have to go to college to get one, but some of the people who work at Fox News and lie to you on a daily basis have journalism degrees. Some of the people who work at the Washington Post.
You're basically already there. You're bringing info to the people.
That's what I'm saying. Some of the people that work at the Washington Post and lie to you every day have journalism degrees. Is it of any value? You know, if I told someone I had an architect degree and I built a building and they hired me and we put together a building and then it fell apart because I lied, because I don't have an architect degree. There's evidence there that I'm a liar. They could go back and they could sue me. It would make sense. Like, hey, you told us you had an architect degree. We built a building on the sketches that you made. It fell down. This is your fault. They get to sue you, right? Like that, and then I would never get to work again. And then then you would Google my name, and it would come up architect. Don't hire Waldo as an architect. He made this building fall down because he lied about his degree. Why doesn't that work for journalism? I don't know. Like, if you have a journalism degree and you lie blatantly to the American people, and then we find out that you lied, that's nothing. You can't do a damn thing about it. Who cares? So, if it doesn't matter, and there is no negative thing, I might just start telling people I have a journalism degree. I've never been to college, but I'll just start telling people I have a journalism degree. What are you going to do? Sue me? Fuck off. Who cares? You can't. No, not even any sense to it. And then I'll tell you, yeah, I'm lying about my journalism degree. And then I'll just tell you I have a journalism degree. What does it fucking matter? What value does it bring? And if it doesn't bring any value, why do you pay for it? And if you don't need to pay for it, why not just everybody have one?
No, fuck the degree. Just identify yourself as Waldo Redacted, Jorbalist.
Waldo Lesname, professional journalist. It's not bad. It's not a bad idea. Professional gerbilist. I don't know. This is the thing that I've been thinking about lately. Is just like, are journalism degrees real? I don't think they are. And if they're not real, can I just claim to have one? No, the gerbilist makes it funny. Yeah, I have a gerbalism degree. Okay, sorry. Okay, rant, insane, off-topic rant over. Okay. Ken Klippenstein, an actual journalist, is going to suggest to us that we are not going to invade. If you watch or read any of the media, you would think that the ground invasion of Iran is imminent, either to land on Karg Island, a 5-mile speck that processes 90% of Iran's oil exports, or to take some coastal strip adjacent to the Strait of Hormuz. It's not imminent and not even inevitable. Military sources tell me that for weeks the Pentagon has exaggerated the readiness and potency of the Marines, setting in motion a media frenzy that is part stupidity, part disinformation to spook Tehran, and part manipulation to please Donald Trump. So what he's suggesting is that we're not actually going to take that island. It would be very stupid to take the island. It is only a 5-mile long island where they have their oil infrastructure. If we took it, we would have to send the people. We would put the tanks there and anti-missile shit like that. Iran would blow it up. The end. If they saw us coming, they would plant a bomb there. And then when we got there, they would explode the bomb. If they can't have it, nobody gets it. It's a very simple concept in war. So, are we going to send people there? Mr. Ken Klippenstein said it would be very stupid to send people there. Ken Klippenstein, one of the very, very few journalists left. It would be very stupid for us to send troops there. Donald Trump and Hegseth are very, very stupid, which is why it might happen. He's saying they won't possibly do it. That would be a stupid move. Yeah, boss. Yes. They're very, very stupid. They're very stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They are morons who do not know what they're doing. They don't know how to do the things. Let's keep reading what he has to say. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing for Island Karg, said Lindsey Graham, a known liar. We did Iwo Jima, we can do this, says Lindsey Graham. And he's an idiot. And I know, he's a liar. But idiots and liars can sometimes tell you what they want to happen. On March 13th, headlines blared about 3 ships. And he goes through all the amazing things talking about these things. And yet NPR is implying a military buildup. And U.S. expected to deploy troops from 82nd Airborne in the Middle East. I covered some of these things too. So, yeah, there may be troops headed that way. If you believe the media, there's a 3rd aircraft carrier on its way. Okay. If you squint, an invasion seems inevitable, but look closer at the actual state of each force being sighted and a very different picture emerges. How is it possible, for instance, that every news organization from the New York Times down can report 3 ships leaving Japan with the Tripoli group when there were only 2? Secrecy, sloppiness, and SOPs. I don't know. With Trump in charge, one never knows. But even if there were a ground operation against Karg Island, it would most likely involve Army Rangers and Special Operations Forces, Green Berets, and Navy SEALs, not some conventional ground assault a la Normandy. The idea of U.S. Marines storming the beaches while the 82nd Airborne drops on parachutes from above is cable news fever dream. Ken, buddy, honey, I love you. But that's also Donald Trump's fever dream. He would love to see World War II Normandy style troop boats crash into Karg Island at full speed, drop that little gate, and have Marines run out of it. He would love that. MAGA would love that. That would become their new desktop background. That would become their new jerk-off material. Marines running out of troop carriers onto Karg Island is what they want. Is it very stupid? Yes. Is it strategically a stupid move? Yes. But they want to do it. You're misunderstanding. Again, Ken Klippenstein is doing what the liberal journalists often do. They think Donnie is an intelligent person. They simply disagree with. He has different goals. He has different principles than you. He has different material outcomes that he would like to achieve. And that's wrong. He does not have a strategy. He's an idiot. He wants kick-ass videos. That is what he wants. That is what his State Department is for. That is what the DOJ does now. They create kick-ass TikTok videos of ICE agents raiding a building. Helicopters overhead. Remember the ICE took over like an entire apartment building And they had these kick-ass videos with Little Dark Age music in the background. And it was a badass scene, and everything was great, and they were charging in, and they were looking super cool, and they had all their tactical gear on, and then they took all the people out, and then the helicopter was over, shooting the spotlights and watching for people to run away, and they would have followed them with the spotlights. And all of those people went to a judge and had their cases dismissed. They accomplished nothing in the real world. But in the imaginary world of conservatives, of MAGA, they were awesome. They created a kick-ass video to beat off to. That is what that we will do on Carg Island. If we attack Carg Island, it will not be the intelligent way that Ken Klippenstein is describing here. It won't be through the Green Berets and Navy SEALs. No. Those guys don't create kick-ass videos. Marines storming the beaches is a kick-ass video. 82nd Airborne dropping from parachutes is a kick-ass video. That's why they want to do it. The frenzy echo, and so he says that we didn't do these two things, Marines and parachutes, in Venezuela, and that's because it was different. I don't know. Maybe he has a point here. And he does have a point. We didn't do that to Venezuela and Nicolas Maduro. I think we did. I think we sent people in there and we did like the super clandestine thing, and they got video. Showed it to Donnie. And someday he's going to show it to you. When Donnie goes for his third term, and he will, he's going to show you secret video of the people arresting Maduro. And it's going to be kick-ass, buddy. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be knocked down, drag out, super badass. This is going to look like a goddamn Black Ops campaign on PS5. That's what it's going to look like. Because that gets the people excited. That gets people wanting to vote for him. MAGA is stupid. They don't care what the outcome is. They care about the spectacle. They care about the optical illusion of ICE raiding people. They don't care about the logistical impossibility afterward. They don't care that all those people, they don't even hear that all those people went to court and got out and were legal and not giant super monster criminals. They don't care. Kick-ass video. What matters. And taking Carg Island will make for lots of kick-ass videos. So in the end, he says, so this is Ken again. It also reminds me of another media freakout, Iran's mining of the Strait of Hormuz, giving the impression that Tehran had mined the entire passage. It later became clear that Iran either hadn't mined anything at all or had only planted a few as a signal. Yeah, they are doing logical things. Which is why all of this is about signaling to Iran. From the beginning of the bombing, signaling that the U.S. is serious this time, that the enemy will be given no quarter, etc. Then came the Marine, and then the 82nd Airborne, and the 3rd Aircraft Carrier, and threats of hell and damnation coming from the mouths of Trump and Hegseth. It's the White House's prerogative to scare the shit out of the Iranian government, but does that mean the media needs to do it to the public? I disagree with him here. The White House is trying to scare the shit out of the Iranian government. Yes. The White House is also filled with morons who want to create kick-ass videos and want to see, Donnie wants to see Marines taking that island. He wants to see it. And if he doesn't see it, it didn't happen, which is why they won't send in the Green Berets to do sneaky clandestine stuff and then we'll just own it. No. It's better for him and for his numbers and his followers and the people within the middle of the country to see Marines doing heroic acts. And if the Marines are doing heroic things, then Donnie gets to win. He gets to win. He gets to be proud and strong and talk about how great those Marines are and how patriotic they are and how they sacrificed. And he needs to be receiving a lot of the admiration and appreciation and respect from the media. That is what he wants. Hi, Malachi. Thanks for coming. I'm very excited to see ICE running pole watching exercises. Yep. Fun stuff. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. I think I've got a few more Iran war things to talk about. Yeah, here we go. Secretary Rubio told G7 the U.S. is not expecting the Strait to reopen to traffic as usual by the end of the war. After this thing ends, one of the immediate challenges we're going to face is Iran that may decide they want to set up a tolling system in the Strait of Hormuz, which will just cost more for oil, which doesn't surprise me at all. They want to control this stuff. It seems the U.S. is assuming that Iran will emerge from the war vastly stronger, able to either dictate or seriously contest sovereignty over the strait and exact tolls. This poorly planned, stupid war has made Iran stronger. And if they are stronger, if they have more money because they're exporting more oil now than they were last year at a higher price than they were last year, they'll be able to buy more rockets. They'll be able to buy better rockets. They'll be able to buy more bombs. They'll be able to pay more Houthis, more Hamas, pay more, what's the other one? Hezbollah. They'll be able to pay more of those guys to do more damage. Donald has made Iran stronger and America weaker. There's no way around it. There's no doubt in my mind that that is correct. He has made us less trustworthy because he is a liar, more antagonistic towards our allies because by threatening to take over Canada and bomb Mexico and hurt Mexico for their immigration policies and fighting and tariffing everybody, especially our allies the most, and steal Greenland and steal the Panama Canal. Nobody wants to be your friend, Donnie. Nobody wants to be America's friend any longer. America, weaker. China, stronger. Iran, stronger. Why would anybody be our ally anymore? If you just become allies with Iran, they might lower your toll for moving oil through. While America continues to tariff poorly, blanket tariffs that don't understand you don't have any comprehension of the market or what tariffs are supposed to do. Just random ass numbers that Donnie makes up. 15 today, 20% tomorrow, 25% the day after. 1,000% tariffs. 1,000 years of tariffs. It's insane. He has no plans. And everything is getting worse because his inaction, his foolishness, his incorrectness leads other people to take advantage and become stronger. The American King goes to war. Since we're talking about him and today is the day of the big gigantic No Kings protests and stuff like that, which is very nice. The No Kings rallies are happening right now. There are a bunch of them downtown. There are a bunch of them in Seattle that I can't go to, but because I'm streaming here, and I'm glad that they're doing it. It is good to go out there, share with your community, understand that there are other people who are like you, who are all also upset. Donnie doesn't care. He does not care. It could be 300 million people in the street. He would not care. He doesn't care. It's a Saturday afternoon, walking in the beautiful sunshine. That doesn't hurt him. That doesn't bother him. Democrats sometimes could be persuaded if 10 million people showed up to protest a Democrat, they would say, oh my God, what do I have to do to make that stop? And they might change what they're doing. Not Republicans, not Donnie. No, he does not live within reality. He has a sphere, a bubble of imaginary bullshit protecting him from any reality of these protests. Now, there are things that could distract him if this protest happened during a weekday and everybody took off work to go to it, and or we striked sort of, even a small strike, and you fill up a downtown giant metropolitan city, then the economy starts to take a hit. This is something he might care about. And he would respond with ice and tear gas and killing innocent civilians. That's how he would respond to it, because he's a terrible person and a fascist and a bad guy who has tear gassed innocent protesters in the past. He literally has. And we saw what happened in Minnesota. Yeah. I always want to say Michigan. We saw what happened in Minnesota with the protesters that died there, and all the protesters who were harmed, and all of them were pepper sprayed. Donnie does not like protests, and if it inconveniences him, he will use the power of the state to hurt the protesters. That's why the No Kings protests are in big cities everywhere. They're all over the place, and they're on a Saturday afternoon, and everybody's been absolutely forbidden from property damage and hurting the economy, which means it's a parade. And I'm totally down for parades. I think this is good. This is fine. Go there, find out who is in your community and you can be friends with. This is good. Go there and join a mutual aid group. Good. Go there and sign some petitions. Fantastic. Go there and cheer and recognize that you are not alone. These are all good things. I already know all these things, which is why I'm not going to go to this one. Not that it's not a good idea, but I don't think that Donald cares. The Republicans don't care about a Saturday afternoon parade. They would care if it happened during the weekday, and then the people would get harmed, which is why it won't happen. Anyway, American King Goes to War. This is not what the founders intended, by Adam Serwer. This, again, talks about nuclear's program. Either Iran's nuclear program needed to be destroyed because Iran was probably a week away from having the material for a bomb, according to Trump advisor Steve Witkoff, which is a lie, or Iran was not enriching uranium, according to the Secretary of State Marco Rubio. So Steve Witkoff and Marco Rubio are saying opposite things. And Donnie 6 months ago told us he obliterated their nuclear program. He told us that last time he bombed them. Or maybe Iran was threatening the United States and its allies in the region, according to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. One advisor told CNN there was evidence Iran was preparing to strike U.S. forces in the Middle East, but Rubio later said that Iran was not an imminent threat. Or he said it was an imminent threat because it would respond if attacked by Israel, which is not what an imminent threat means. It means if Israel bombed them, they would start shooting rockets, which is just common sense. Obviously, we know that would happen. The U.S. is going to a war to force regime change in Iran, or maybe it isn't. It depends on who you ask and when. The operation will be short, and maybe it won't be. See, exactly. This is the things that I'm talking about. It's going to be short. It's over. It's already over. He already told us that we won. And it's over. And a couple of weeks from now, we'll just wrap the whole thing up unless they keep firing, and they are going to keep firing unless they put some mines out, and they're going to do that, unless they try to control the Strait of Hormuz, which is theirs. I mean, honestly. In which case the war will last for eternity. There is something I think is good here about the Constitution and a Abraham Lincoln quote. So this is an Abraham Lincoln quote. Can I do an Abraham Lincoln voice? No one knows what his voice sounded like. Okay, I'm going to pretend to do Abraham Lincoln voice. Kings had always been involving and impoverishing their people in wars, pretending generally, if not always, that the good of the people was the object. Abraham Lincoln wrote in 1848, "This was understood to be the most oppressive of all kingly oppressions, and they resolved to frame the Constitution so that no one man should hold the power of bringing this oppression upon us." So, Abraham Lincoln, kind of a big deal in America, kind of a big deal, suggested that one man deciding to send the entire country to war is fucking anti-constitutional. Donnie, one man, has decided to take our entire country to war. That should be anti-constitutional. But Republicans don't care. They don't mind. They don't like the Constitution if it disagrees with them. And it says a lot of to a Republican brain. The Constitution always agrees with Republicans. Always. Doesn't matter what they say or what they do. The Constitution and the Bible always agrees with Republicans and Donald Trump. Doesn't matter if he's flip-flopping, gone on all sides of all issues. It always agrees with him. Because they're terrible people. Because they're liars. Because they're crooked. Because they cannot be trusted to tell you what is real. Here is Mike Johnson doing the thing that Abraham Lincoln said we shouldn't do. Oh, well, this isn't about the war. Shit. I put this out of order. Anyway, Mike Johnson would totally approves Donald Trump being the king. We can see him giving away constitutional power on this screen. Here we go.
We are very grateful to have a strong commander-in-chief in the White House who has taken real leadership. President Trump has already ordered by executive order that TSA agents will be paid, and that machinery is in process right now. The Office of Management and Budget is working through that to make sure that that happens, and we will reduce the lines and the waits at the airlines, and we'll make sure that those who are protecting us are paid. But what we are going to present and what we're going to vote on this floor, our Rules Committee is working through this right now. We're going to put a clean, simple, continuing resolution that will go until May 22nd. It's just a number of weeks to allow for all those who sacrificially serve the country and protect other Americans. All these agencies, 10 agencies under the Department of Homeland Security, will continue at their current funding levels to make sure that they are protected. We're going to send that over to the Senate, and we hope that they'll accept that. They can do it in record time just like that with the unanimous consent. They could do that as early as Monday.
Okay, so tiny subject shift here. King Donnie, who is getting more power from Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson is giving his lawful constitutional power away. What is his job? He is a representative. What does he represent? The voting public. He is supposed to represent you. He is supposed to listen to Americans, then enact their will through the framework of the Constitution and build laws upon it. But that's nerd shit, okay? It's also really difficult and not a good way to make money. So he ain't going to do it. Instead, he's going to take the power, the authority that we gave him, and pass it up to the king. Pastor Mike has given your power to King Donnie so that he can spend more time speculating on the stock market and fomenting a culture war among the plebs, the stupidest among us. That's where his true passion lives. Bigotry towards people who are different from him. Hate the Muslims, hate the gays, hate the Dems, hate the woke, hate the trans. Vote for Mike. He is not representing you any longer. He is not representing the people. He wants to be a advisor to the king. That is what he wants. He wants Donald Trump to be the king, and he just gives Donald Trump some advice on which direction to go based on his principles and his morals, not yours. No. He doesn't care about you.
He wouldn't be Pastor Mike without hate.
I know, right? He is a hate pastor. And he wants, how does he get his power? How does he get his votes? Through bigotry, by fomenting that culture war, by passing around the idea that these people are bad and these people are awful and they're not like you and you shouldn't listen to them and they are woke and they are dangerous and they are taking away your morality. It's like a misunderstanding of how society works. Example. Starbucks. You've been there. Can I walk into Starbucks and order a large black coffee? I can. I do. Because that's the way I like it. Because I am a coffee bro. Like this is my coffee cup. It is a disgusting monstrosity of toxic poison. I like my coffee to be burned, too hot, and poisonous. No sugar, no cream, no, just molten poison. That's how I want it, okay? Because I'm a crusty, bitter old man. Now, can I walk into Starbucks and order a large black coffee? Yes, I can. But you've seen their menu. Christ almighty, the Starbucks menu gets bigger every day. Doesn't it? Shit I never heard of. Macchiatos, soy lattes, to frappuccinos, cappuccinos, frappafipples, wiggle fogbles, It's just got all kinds of made up words that I've never heard of. I don't know what a dragon fruit is, but they've got it. I don't know what a macchiato is, but they've got them. I've never had one. I don't know what it is. The conservative sees that menu, sees people ordering it, and gets upset that people don't just order straight black coffee the way they do. If I were a conservative, I would look at that and be disgusted by people not doing what I'm doing. I'm awesome. I'm the best person I know. I'm the smartest guy I know. And every choice I've ever made is the correct choice. So how did all these weirdos end up ordering a soy latte at 112 degrees? It's nonsense. When a conservative sees gay people on the TV, or trans people in the media, or black people in a movie, they think that it's not for them. And if it's not for them, then they are being ignored. They are being put upon. They are being subtracted from. And that is the point of their bigotry. That is the purpose of the bigotry. They see that giant menu at Starbucks and think, this isn't for me. I'm not welcome here. They can still buy large black coffee. They can. I do it all the time. But they feel like they don't belong. And in feeling like they don't belong, because all politics is based on feelings, they then strike out at the other, at the thing that's making them feel like they don't belong. Black people in movies, woke-ass Hollywood, queer video games. They have to hate on those things to make them less, to make fewer of them, so that their menu, the thing that makes them feel like they belong, is proliferated. I've been watching them for a very long time. I study them like Jane Goodall studies the chimps. And this is why they do the things they do. This is why they hate wokeism. This is why they hate Hollywood. And this is why they have meritocracy that's only straight white guys. Because every time they see something that isn't like them, they feel unwelcome. And if they feel unwelcome, then they aren't in charge. They aren't on top of the pyramid. Conservatism is a hierarchy. Leftism is an egalitarian. We strive to turn the pyramid into a straight line where everyone is equal. It has the equal representation of the law, the equal amount of freedom. And that can go too far. I don't want equal pay for everyone within the planet, and I don't want equal outcomes the way Jordan Peterson often suggests that I do. But equality under the law. Equality for gender expression and races and stuff like that. And everything should be equal on those terms. That's an actual meritocracy, but the conservatives don't like that. They don't like that. They see gay TV and feel like that they aren't being represented any longer. But that's why the representation exists anyway. That's why gay people make gay TV shows, so that they and their homes can feel like a part of this world, like they're seen. And that's great. You can still order a large black coffee at Starbucks, no matter how big their menu gets. You can still get it literally everywhere. I don't often go to Starbucks because I live in Seattle and there are thousands of great coffee places. I could throw a rock and hit a good coffee place. So I just go to whichever one is nearby and whichever one I want to. But yeah, I just order the large black coffee. It's fine. Anywho, what the fuck was I talking about? What have you people done to me? Oh yeah, Mike Johnson, in his jihad holy war against everything woke. So let's keep talking about this funding bill, this executive order that is illegal.
Republicans won't fund TSA or FEMA or the Coast Guard unless we greenlight more terror in our communities. That's what they care about. That's more important to them than anything else. Funding ICE and the paramilitary force that they have turned into. So if you've ever doubted for a moment how craven the House Republicans really are, today you have your answer.
Very high-minded words for what I just said, calling Mike Johnson a piece of shit. She's not allowed to just call him a lying sack of shit, but I am. I get to, you get to. That's why we're here. So here's what happened. Trump created a problem. The Republican Senate used their lawful authority to fix that problem. The Republican House, led by Pastor Mike Johnson, rejects that solution of paying everybody but ICE. They got a big fucking pay increase back in the big beautiful bill when that passed. They got shitloads of money. They got more money than they need. So the House, so all the Democrats said, no more money for ICE. We will give you money for the Coast Guard. We will give you money for the TSA. We will give you money for the rest of DHS except for ICE. The Senate said yes. Even the Republicans in the Senate said yes. They passed that to the House. Mike Johnson, the bigoted piece of shit, said no. The anti-democratic Mike Johnson, pushing for the king of America. He wants your democracy to go away. He does not want you to vote anymore. He wants Donald Trump to be the king of the fucking country. Said no. So Trump then passes an executive order, or Trump then writes an executive order that has no basis in law or constitutionality. And the Republican House, including Mike Johnson, loves that unlawful solution. And they cheer about losing their own power. That is what Mike Johnson is doing here. That is what he is doing in this little clip, saying, Donnie's in charge. Donnie's the king. I don't need authority. I don't need power. Give it to him. Take power from the people and give it to the man on top because he is all that matters. You, pleb, can fuck off and go fight in a war, a holy war for Israel. You, pleb, have to just fight in the culture wars forever. Decisions will be made by Donald Trump. Not you, not voters, not the Senate, not the people elected. Donnie was elected, but he gets to be king from now on. He gets to be in charge. And the House will continue, if led by Republicans, to give him more power, more authority, more legal acceptance of the things he does. And they will lose that power. You will lose that power. Any authority that you have will be taken and passed up to him. Because they don't like you. They don't like me. They don't like their voters. Mike Johnson does not like his voters. He thinks they're fucking troglodyte morons. That's why he controls them with his culture war. He knows they're hateful bigots, and so he gives them some red meat hateful bigotry and then says, vote for me, and they do. They want to be hateful idiots because that's how they feel. And so he gives them the feelings that they want, and they give him a vote. He does not respect them. He does not like them. He does not think that they are good people. He doesn't think that you're good people. He doesn't care if you are or aren't a good person. He needs money. He needs to be in charge, and he will step on anybody he can to get there. That's the way all the Republicans and most of the Democrats are. And this is the executive order paying our great transportation security administration officers and employees. So he just passes this illegal executive order, and it is illegal. It should not exist. The House run by this guy, decides who gets paid and how and when. Supposed to anyway, according to the Constitution, but this guy doesn't read the Constitution. He doesn't care what it says. It agrees with him. It agrees with Donald, even when they disagree with each other, even when it's contradictory. Doesn't matter. Conservatives have no ethics. They have no guidelines. They have no principles. Whatever they're saying right now is their current principle, and that will change tomorrow. It could be completely opposite of the law, and they'll just lie to you and tell you that the law agrees with them. They have no principles. And let's see, was there any more about this thing? Any more about the TSA and stuff like that? No, but I'm changing topics again. Again, I put my tabs out of order. So, will the Iran war lead to World War III? Lots of people are talking about World War III. I talked about it a minute ago, too. Is it going to lead us to World War III? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. There are a lot of countries that are getting involved with our current Iran war. Reports of an Israel-U.S. strike near a Pakistan embassy in the Iranian capital. So, the Iranian capital, it exists. It has a Pakistan embassy, and some of their people got close to being bombed. Israel almost accidentally killed Pakistani diplomats, in which Pakistan says, I won't put up with that. We won't put up with that. We will bomb Israel if they do that. Israel must remember Pakistan is no Qatar. We will beat the hell out of them if any harm is occurred to our diplomats anywhere in the world. If Israel slips up, Pakistan will bomb Israel. Donald Trump, being the absolute cretin that he is, Pete Hegseth being the hateful bigot that he is, will then start bombing Pakistan and start blaming Pakistan and hurting them. Because they have no chill, they have no understanding, they have no nuance. You're with us, you're against us. You're good, you're bad. You are ally or you are enemy. You are behind us or you are fucking shot at. You are shooting at our enemies or you are our enemy. That is where they draw the lines. So if Pakistan did anything toward Israel, Israel will start attacking Pakistan because they hate Pakistan too. As soon as Israel is large enough and strong enough to attack Lebanon, they did. And they will take more land, they will take more American money, they will take more American weapons, and then attack Lebanon again. And they will kill more people in Gaza, and they will attack Lebanon again, and then they'll attack Jordan. They'll attack everybody they can to steal more land for their bloodline. That is why I call them fascists. The Israel government right now is fascist. Blood and soil. If you are doing war shit, if you are operating a government, and those are your goals, increase your bloodline, take soil, take the land, you are doing fascism. Fascism has a lot of different elements, but it boils down to those two words, blood and soil. The people on this land are not our bloodline, which means they need to leave. They are not our ethnicity, which means they need to leave violently if necessary. And we need to expand to have more land for our ethnicity, which is what Israel is doing. And that's not okay. That makes them the enemy of peace, honestly. And it's kind of obvious as they bomb Lebanon and kill everyone in Israel. They do a genocide there. They're going to do a genocide in Lebanon if they can. And then they'll do a genocide of Egypt if they could. It was Jewish slaves that built the pyramids, maybe. So they have the right to do that. It's their pyramid, right? They will continue to do that. as long as we let them. So we should stop letting them do that. Cut them off. All funding, all weapons, all aid, all of it now. Stop it. And if they want to be an actual normal part of the world, have them elect someone else and bring us a proposal that says, hey, we're going to stop doing the blood and soil thing. We're going to stop attacking innocent people. We're going to stop ethnically cleansing parts of the world. Can we be a normal part of the world again? And that's why I think we're headed towards a World War III. I don't know, yes or no. It's possible. Is it possible? Yes. Maybe Israel accidentally kills a Pakistani, and the Pakistani people, the government retaliates. Maybe. Russia is, what is this? Blah, Washington Post. Anyway, stupid Washington Post is saying that Russia is providing Iran intelligence to target U.S. forces. Obviously, Russia is giving Iran as much as they can, leading us to a World War III. Russia and Iran together fighting against America and Israel. And then Israel accidentally hurts someone in Pakistan. Then Pakistan starts shooting against Israel. Now America has to start shooting at Pakistan. That leads to a world war. Might not lead to a nuclear world war yet, but it leads to a world war. And then what was the other one that I was thinking of? There we go. Iran officially confirms military support from Russia and China in war against the U.S. So if Iran is getting support from China, from Russia, and eventually Japan, because we fucked Japan over by closing down the Strait of Hormuz, by fucking up Iran, and then Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, and now Japan has a tough choice to make. Do they stay allies with America, who's tariffing them and run by a fucking cretin moron like Donald Trump and a bloodthirsty hate monger like Pete Hegseth? Or do they go and become friends with Russia and China and Iran, who are closer to them, and abandon us? That is why I'm telling you, Donald Trump has made our country weaker and Iran stronger. And is this leading to a world war? Yeah, kind of. This is World War buildup, is what this is. This is World War buildup. Editor Waldo will take that section and put it at the end of the Iran war section, and then turn it into a video on YouTube. So if you're watching, hop into chat, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. Go on over to YouTube, click the button, click the subscribe button, click the thumbs up, click the bell, break the thumb, stab the subscribe button, burn someone, insult someone, spread some hatred within the comment section, because that is what the YouTube algorithm promotes. Hatred. And that is what it likes to spread, and that is what gives me the most reach, is if you're in there hating something. Doesn't matter what. You could hate Star Wars. You could hate my Mega Man decorations. You could hate my face. You could hate Donald Trump. You could hate anybody you want in the comment section, and then that lights up the YouTube algorithm, and it will spread it to more people. I have done exclusive and extensive studies to prove this is correct. What was I talking about? Here we go. Republicans don't like you. This is Sheriff Chad Bianco, the California governor candidate who seized 650,000 ballots. Now, why did he do that? Because he doesn't like what they said, and he imagines that they should say something else. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco sees 650,000 ballots cast in California's recent redistricting referendum. He opened a new front in the battle over the sanctity of election results. His shocking actions came just weeks after the FBI raided a Georgia election hub and seized 2020 election ballots and subpoenaed files related to the 2020 vote in Arizona. But whereas the FBI actions were clearly part of President Donald Trump's efforts to relitigate his loss in 2020, and he did lose, the Riverside County ballot seizure begged more basic questions. Who is Chad Bianco, and why would a county sheriff want to challenge the results of a special election? In fact, a closer look reveals that Bianco has a long history of hardline conservative statements, and his ballot seizure fits clearly into the Republican Party's broader attack on free and fair elections. if we try to use the law and the rules to vote for not conservatives, the conservatives will use violence, power, guns to undo that. We already saw this on January 6th. On January 6th, Donald lost, and the Republicans, conservatives, and MAGA banded together to use violence to change those election results. That is what you are looking at here. That is what this guy is doing. Violence, state-backed because he is a sheriff, to harm the people who did not vote his way. And, as Malachi mentioned, the DHS is going to have ICE agents at the polls. They are going to use violence to intimidate people out of voting. They're going to use violence to stop them voting. They're going to use excuse me. They're going to use pepper spray and tear gas to stop people from waiting in line. They're going to make it impossible for people to vote, and they're going to call it freedom. They are going to say that they saw an illegal voting, and they're going to lie. They're going to lie. There are no illegal votes. There are no illegal aliens voting. There are mistakes. There are things that go wrong. There are people who do voting fraud, but it is incredibly, incredibly rare. Almost none. Certainly not enough to sway any election at all. Even for local stuff like dog catcher, there's not even enough to sway that race. There's certainly not 4 million illegal votes like Donnie said was for Hillary. He's a liar. You can't listen to him. This guy is a liar. And he is going to use his state the violence and guns that the people gave him to steal their votes. This is authoritarianism. I don't know his specific version, and maybe he is also a fascist who wants blood and soil. I don't know. Don't know enough about him. But what he will do is use his badge and his gun to change the election results after the fact if he doesn't like what the election result is. Violence to change the election results. He is a terrorist. Sheriff Chad Bianco, you are a terrorist. You are no different from Hamas or Hezbollah or the Houthis. You don't like the thing that the people have voted for, and so you use guns and your badge to change it. You make me sick. You are anti-American. You should be ashamed of yourself. Let's see. Is there anything else to look at? Yeah, let's keep on this subject. There are not two sides to a confession. This is a very good thing written by Mark Elias, who is working really hard to protect democracy. He really is. And you can get more from him at Democracy Docket. You should go there. You should listen to him. He is very smart. In my darkest moments, I fear that this is how democracy dies, not with a secret conspiracy conducted in the middle of the night, but with a brazen confession made public by the light of day. Last night, after a long day, I sat down to reflect on Watson versus RNC, the Supreme Court case which could decide the results of the midterm elections. I poured years into the case and others like it, trying to ensure voters are not disenfranchised by delays caused by the U.S. postal system. So he describes the postal system, stuff like that. I've been doing this work for over 30 years. From my early days as a young lawyer looking to make a difference to running my own pro-democracy law firm, I've dedicated my career to free and fair elections. Over the years, I have watched the Republican Party morph into a crime family that boasts about rigging elections. They have told us in courtrooms and legislative chambers and in the campaign rallies exactly what they are going to do and why they are going to take your ballots away. They want to limit the right to vote of minorities and others who oppose them. They seek to use technology to gerrymander themselves into permanent majorities, and if all else fails, they want election deniers in a position to seize ballots or refuse to certify results. That is what Sheriff Chad Bianco is going to do. They want him there so that he can lie to you and tell you that the election didn't go the way that you think it did. And if you disagree with him, he will arrest you and use state violence to harm you. He will use state violence to seize ballots and take them and then lie to you about what they say. Despite the proof before their eyes, too many are unable to accept the confession. For example, in the complaint in Watson, the RNC cited data showing that their Democratic voters disproportionately utilized vote by mail and mail their ballots late. Then they went a step further. In federal court filings, the RNC had the audacity to write that counting these ballots specifically and disproportionately harms Republican candidates and voters. In 23, well before Donald Trump became the dominant force in GOP, North Carolina Republicans were enacting laws to disenfranchise black voters with near surgical precision. The Federal Court of Appeals found that the party had requested data on which voting methods were disproportionately used by black voters and then eliminated them. The GOP learned from it, refined its methods, and kept going. They found out how black people vote, and they said no one is allowed to do that any longer. In 21, Republican lawyers felt secure enough to say the quiet part out loud before the Supreme Court. In Brnovich versus Democratic National Committee, Justice Amy Covid Barrett, that's her name, Amy Covid Barrett, asked the Republican lawyer why the GOP had an interest in keeping restrictive Arizona voting laws on the books. He did not lean on false claims of fraud and election integrity. He said bluntly, because it puts us at a competitive disadvantage relative to the Democrats. Politics is a zero-sum game. They know the people don't like them, and they know they need to cheat to win, so they stand in front of a judge and say, if we don't do this cheating, we won't win. And that's not fair. The people don't like us. And if they don't like us, we have to cheat to win. And if we don't get to cheat, we don't get to win. And if we don't get to win, then it's not fair. Nothing in the Constitution says that Republicans get a turn. And that's what they're telling you. That's what they're saying. They're saying Republicans have to have a turn. Okay, everybody? We have to share, and Republicans have to get a turn. No, the fuck they don't. No, they don't. That's not written anywhere. That's not in the law. That's not in the Constitution. Give Republicans a turn. It's not written anywhere. The statement should have ended the debate about Republican motive once and for all. Instead, it was noted, contextualized, and largely forgotten. They don't care. They know it's true. They don't care. When Trump pressured Texas to redraw its congressional maps mid-decade, explicitly to gain 5 additional Republican House seats, the media could not pretend the motive was unclear. In allowing the map to take effect, Justice Alito declared it indisputable that Texas has acted for partisan advantage, pure and simple. That's a Republican saying, yeah, they're doing that. But he's not going to stop them. He likes it when they do that because he is them. Justice Alito, likes it when Republicans cheat because he is a Republican. He's okay with that. He doesn't mind. Many in the media and chattering class responded by treating both parties as equally guilty. They're not. Never mind that one party has spent decades in court fighting to remove partisan considerations from the process, while the other has resisted even incremental reforms. Our country has spent decades treating politicians as a game between two teams, each with a legitimate grievance. The framework may have made sense when both parties operated within the democratic rules of the road, but that hasn't been true for more than a decade, and it's getting worse. Republicans 20 years ago followed the rules. They just had different outcomes. Things have changed. Ever since Obama, things have changed because President Blackenstein was able to win. If he hadn't won, well, it would have been Hillary, but even then. Because President Blackenstein won and the runner-up was a lady, they had to abandon all reason. Conservatives had to abandon every rule. They cannot allow another black person to win. They cannot allow a woman to win. Certainly can't allow a half black, half Indian woman to win. That would hurt them so much that they would go to war. They would kill. They would start doing violence, like on Jan 6th, like the sheriff is doing. This sheriff would rather seize ballots with guns than accept that the people around him voted for Kamala. It could be factually proven, but he would not care. He would not accept it because it's not America anymore, according to him and their poisoned brains. Trump has now made the Save America Act his top legislative priority, threatening to refuse to sign any legislation until it passes. I think we should take him up on this. I think we should absolutely not pass the Save Act and then let him sign no more legislation. That's a great thing. I mean, them should be totally doing exactly that. They should be promising it. They should be excited about it and be like, hey, listen, if we stop this one, he won't sign anything else. Hooray, we win. We did it. But they're bad at messaging. They're bad at explaining things. His explanation for why Republicans need it was, as usual, unambiguous. We'll never lose a race. For 50 years, we won't lose a race, says Donald Trump. If we kick off a lot of the people who vote blue, then we won't lose anymore. You idiots. Kick off the people who vote blue, which is what he's trying to do. Rather than examining why the GOP is investing such enormous political capital in a bill that strips voting rights from millions of Americans, the media focuses on whether it might backfire politically. This takes me back to what I was talking about journalism degrees. If you're on TV doing what Mark Elias is describing here, I have no respect for you, and I am a better journalist than you are. I am writing this because I want to warn you and because I want there to be a record. The Republican Party is telling us with brimming confidence and zero shame that it intends to make it harder for its opponents to vote and easier to control the outcome of the elections. They are prepared to use every tool available to them, legal or not, to stay in power, including guns, ammo, and men with badges. There are not two sides to a confession. There was only the confession and the choice of whether to take it seriously. I have given up on legacy media taking it seriously. My question is, will you? So, yeah, this is the most important part. The SAVE Act will kick 10% of legal voters off. That's a nice, quick, easy sentence and quick description of what it is going to do. But have you heard a Democrat talk about that? They say that it's hurting women. Just nice and simple. SAVE Act will kick 10% of the legal voters off. One sentence. And the people would be against it. Are you in that 10%?
I've heard the math comes out to more 18%.
There are some people that are saying it's 18. I have seen somebody exaggerate that math. Maybe 18% is an exaggeration. Maybe it's not. Maybe maybe 18 is the right number. But 10 is a nice round number that people can wrap their heads around. Say it. Put it out there. Put it on your bumper stickers. The SAVE Act will kick 10% at least of voters off the rolls. Are you in that 10%? You might be. How do you know if you're in that 10%? That might get people interested in looking at what the SAVE Act is and trying to comprehend it. But as I said, the people in the center really only care about two things: foreign wars and gas prices. This isn't either of those things. The SAVE Act is not either of those things. So it is relegated not to the mainstream, not to the important people, but not to the people in the middle, but to the wackos like me and you and anybody who watches a political live streamer or anybody who pays attention to the news. So that's why we're fighting against it. It is a bad thing. The SAVE Act will harm American democracy in a way that we may never recover from. If the people who do the voting don't care about you, as we've proven that Mike Johnson does not care about you. He does not want any good thing for you. Republicans do not work for you. Even if you're in a Republican district, they don't work for you. They feed their MAGA base bigotry and are rewarded with votes so that they can make money, so that they can play the stock market, so that they can whisper into Donnie's ear whatever will make themselves more powerful, more money, and or do the actual bigotry, if you're a true believer, like some people are. That's not a good system. We're not a serious country anymore. We cannot be taken seriously, which is why there's a world war a-brewing. We used to be the biggest kid on the block, and now we've gone insane and are attacking our allies, terrifying our friends, trying to steal parts of sovereign nations, promising to steal from Canada, promising to steal from Mexico, promising to steal from Greenland, promising to steal from the Panama Canal, attacking wildly for no fucking reason Iran, attacking wildly for no fucking reason Venezuela, murdering people on drug boats. Maybe they're drug boats, and they most likely are boats carrying drugs who are coming from South America, but we're just murdering them. We're not capturing them and putting them on trial. No. We're just nuking them. We're just murking them. No, not nuking them. I apologize. We're murking them from fucking orbit. We are not trustworthy any longer. Donald Trump and the Republicans have removed all trust from America. The Iran agreement of 2015 was a peace agreement. It took very intelligent people doing actual, real, legitimate democracy and diplomacy to get a peace agreement with Iran. And we had one. They were going to become a more normal country. They were, if they followed those rules, going to become a more prosperous country, an ally of America who we could do business with. And if they got squirrely, we would stop doing business with them and it would hurt them. That's liberal, market-based diplomacy. If Japan suddenly went and started doing evil, awful things to their citizens, we would cut off ties with them. And then they wouldn't be able to sell to America. They wouldn't be able to buy from America. And we wouldn't buy from them. And all of a sudden, they would be without the most major market. Might they look elsewhere? Yes, but that would be difficult. This is the liberal world order that has been put together. And it somewhat works. It does give a lot of power to capitalism, and we do need to wrestle with that. But that's how the system works now. Donnie has wrecked all systems. Anytime he looks at a system, he ruins it. He doesn't understand it. He misunderstands it. He creates a delusion of how it actually works, and then he spreads fear about it, and then he just breaks it. He broke USAID because he didn't know what it was. He didn't understand it. He's broken our tax system because he doesn't know what it is and he doesn't understand it. He's broken our DHS because he doesn't know what it is and he doesn't understand it. He's broken our DOJ because he doesn't know what it is and he doesn't understand it. He has broken the voting machines. He has broken democracy. He has broken every single thing he's ever touched because it benefits him. Chaos is a ladder that he uses to climb higher and higher. The world doesn't like that. And they are now aligning against us. And it's about to be, if they keep playing this wrong, it will be America and Israel against the world. And I don't know whose side I'm on at that point. If you're paying attention, if you're watching, hop in the chat, tell me what you're thinking. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thanks for being here, Shinsinto. Thanks for being here, Valor, Malachi, and Philip. Thanks for being here. I appreciate everybody. Thanks. I love you. I'm going to call it there today. I'm about to lose my voice again. I'm coughing. I'm still sick. It won't go away. I've had a cough for like a month, and it won't go away, and I don't know what it is. And everybody around me has the same thing. It's not just me. Everybody at work has the same thing. Everybody I interact with in the meat space, in the real world, has the same like cough that's been going on forever, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's a really bad year. Why isn't there any tinfoil hattery around that about that? Everybody in America is sick, and we're all miserable right now. But we can't have conspiracy theories about that. I don't know. It doesn't have a name. COVID, Corona. So it can't be very interesting. Anyway, that's it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. I'm going over to the YouTube page and because I'm going to turn the best parts of this. Can I type today? I can. Going over to the YouTube page and follow the links there. You can watch all the old videos and stuff like that. The last video I'd made popped off, got like 900 views. Super exciting. So much fun. It's because I put the word hatred. I put the word hate in the title. 10 times as many views, 10 times as many comments, 10 times as many recommendations because I put the word hate in the title. The YouTube algorithm is powered by hatred. The more you hate a thing, the more they spread it on the YouTube algorithm. I wish it weren't true, but all of my testing has suggested that it is. So thanks for being here. Thanks for coming. I will turn all of the things you saw today into little videos and then edit out all the uhs and the ums. Editor Waldo just hates me. Do I have an editor? Yeah. Editor Waldo just does not like me. Okay. And he has to go through all of this garbage and rearrange it into something that is almost like logical and sensical and carries a narrative through line, and then put it on YouTube, and it's awful. If you talk about one thing in a YouTube video, like, the algorithm will spread it. If you talk about 4 things, the YouTube algorithm will not spread it. The YouTube algorithm listens to the words you say. If you talk about Iran and then you talk about Trump and you talk about a war, great, okay. But if you talk about Iran and then you talk about Diablo 2 and then you talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then you talk about a movie you watched last month, that video will not get shown to anybody. You won't even know it exists. The YouTube algorithm will bury that shit. So you almost have to, like, that's why I organize my tabs, and that's why you saw me, if you're watching today, start talking about the war, then something else, and then I forgot that I had these other tabs about the war. If I were smarter, if I were better at this job, I would put them in order ahead of time, and like, so that it would flow. But I suck and I'm stupid. So I appreciate you. That's why I appreciate you being here, because I suck and I'm still stupid. So that is it for me today. I'm going to go eat some lunch. You guys should take off. There are no doggies. Sorry we had no bubble break. They've been outside all day. It's a lovely day outside. They are out there in the yard barking at stuff. So they haven't come up here to me, so I haven't been able to grab them. I will be back on this coming Wednesday, unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag.